Well, hello, Beth. My
Hi.
name is John. Like I said, I am one of the counselors here, and thank you for coming in today. So, how was the drive?
It was okay. Your directions were good.
Okay,
So.
good. You didn't get lost on my
No,
account?
no, I didn't.
Okay, good. Is there anything that you came today to really want to talk? Any concerns that you had or anything pressing that was on your mind that you wanted to make sure that you brought up today?
Yeah, I've been kind of trying different things in my daily life and hoping something kind of catches, but I need to figure out how I'm going to spend my days now that I can't have a full-time job due to my disability. I'm able to do, some little part-time or some gig working or some contract work, but I can't really figure anything out that gives me joy.
So the disability is somewhat new and you're trying to figure out how you're going to spend your time and feel fulfilled too, it sounds like.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a new disability, but I'm just now getting to the point where I've kind of wrapped my head around it and am just starting to acknowledge that it's not going to go away, it's not going to change, and really just kind of peeking out from under my depression and saying, I guess I need to figure out what I'm going to do, like you say, to feel fulfilled.
Okay.
And contribute a little money to my household, and
Okay. So it seems like you're getting just a little bit out from under the weight of this new disability, and it's not as new anymore, and you're kind of coming out of the feeling of overwhelmed, and now it's like, okay, what's next?
kind of, yeah.
Okay. We can definitely make sure we cover that topic. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I have been trained in career counseling. I also have other specialties of trauma therapy and substance abuse counseling and things like that. But so we can definitely, process and kind of go over what kinds of issues and what you're looking to as far as solutions for that career issue today.
Okay.
We'll talk for about 15 minutes and then kind of summarize and maybe look forward to what our next interactions might entail.
Okay.
So.
Sounds good.
So tell me a little bit more about what you were doing for a career in the past.
I was a complex commercial construction litigation paralegal. So what that means is that my attorney and I would work on a multi-million-dollar case for a couple of years and then usually have a 4 to 8 week jury trial and take a week or two off and then start over on the next one that came in. So lots of organizing of data and documents, lots of client interaction, sat at counsel table during trial, and was my attorney's right hand. So I had, until I was disabled, I had done that for almost 30 years.
So it sounds like once a case would start, you didn't have to worry about job security for a while. You knew you would just kind of like,
right.
This is going to take a couple years, 2 or 3 years per case. So it was just a matter of now I just need to do my bit of it, the organizing and being the right hand man, so to speak.
Right, and I was salaried at that time, so
Okay.
I mean, it was really, I didn't have to worry what project I was going to be on.
Right.
I wasn't ever worried about my paycheck, just was I getting enough billable hours.
Right.
Yeah.
So this new, I keep saying new, but with your disability status currently, and not having an idea about what you're supposed to be doing for the next 2-3 years, that's really new to you. You were doing it for how long?
Almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years. So this is a brand new day-to-day existence for you.
It is. I did have an interim period of a few years where I traveled and I hand built my own tiny house on wheels, and then I traveled teaching workshops and doing speaking engagements and organizing village exhibits. So I did that for, I guess, almost 5 years, and then I went back to be a contract paralegal, and that's the time frame in which I was qualified as disabled by Social Security and started receiving disability checks. So I'm capped at how much I can make a month.
Okay, so you've had some fluctuation is what you're saying. There's been a little
Definitely.
bit of, it hasn't been just the past solid 30 years that you've always known what you're going to do from day to day. You're kind of used to having to kind of come up with your own.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were kind of self-employed there for a little while.
Yes, I was.
So you're used to organizing your time, both jobs, kind of being in charge of your own time and how you organized that and broke that up.
Yeah. The tiny house thing did not pay regularly or very much, but it was fun. Fun does not pay the bills.
Okay, so tell me what you liked about being a paralegal. What was the draw to that, and what made you come to that career?
Well, gosh, I studied it in college and went right into it. So at the very beginning, I liked all the legal TV shows, and I thought I'd be an executive assistant.
Okay.
And that just kind of morphed into my college advisor told me to reach higher than being a secretary. And she suggested paralegal, and I latched on it and just ran with it. So.
What was it about being a paralegal or even an executive assistant that you were drawn to? What was it?
I never was an executive assistant, so I'll just answer the paralegal part.
Mm-hmm.
I liked doing all of the detailed work going up to a culmination of a trial, and then have the thrill of a jury trial with all of its highs and lows and stresses. I loved all of it. And I was allowed to pretty much run the show on my end. I didn't have, my attorney was not one that hovered over me. He basically told me, I need you to get from A to B by this date, and I don't really care how you do it. And I enjoyed the travel. I enjoyed every case was different because we did commercial construction. Every single case was different. So it was fun learning about and learning how something was built or processed or whatever. I enjoyed the variety
Excuse me.
of it. And I enjoyed the notoriety of it too. I made good salary and I was respected. So all of those things it was just a good match for me.
So let me just read back to you what you've been kind of listing off. That you like work that is detail oriented, organizing details.
Mm-hmm.
You like work that has like a thrilling outcome where there's suspense involved, like building a project and potentially not knowing how exactly it's going to turn out.
Mm-hmm.
You like being a self-starter and self-directive with your time and not being kind of hovered over by a manager or something like that. You like that.
Yeah.
You enjoy travel, and you also enjoy variety in your workload or your projects. You don't want them to be the same. You've always and paralegal entailed all of those elements.
And also a little bit of detective work,
Mm.
finding all of the documents and statements that tell a story that support your case. So I kind of was a detective in a mountain of paper and people.
Okay. So you like the investigative, where it's kind of on you to kind of look into problems and find solutions to problems. And
Yeah, I'm a huge problem solver, and I also like to help people. So, I mean, all around it was great for a long
Okay.
time. Bitter that I can't do that anymore.
so it's not just the feeling of the time, but it's also missing some of the thrill of the project, the being part of a bigger project with others sometimes, and maybe even helping others uncover information that kind of builds the project and towards the outcome. And it's not only that you were depressed about being ill or having this new disability, but maybe even bitter about having some of that taken away.
Oh, 100%.
Some of that thrill and joy.
100%. Self-worth and respect and earning capacity. That whole apple cart has been tipped over.
And are you earning any income right now?
No,
Okay.
I haven't for a little while.
So maybe even, being that you really are drawn to being self-sufficient and a self-starter in your work life is being self-sufficient monetarily or financially, also a value of yours.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about how you've been getting along since the disability. What kind of resources have you been tapping into?
Well, I was receiving disability checks for a period of time, and now I'm embattled with Social Security. They've suspended those for about a year, and I'm hoping that those are going to resume pretty soon. And my attorney, for whom I worked, has been able to kind of just dole out $900 a month to me. He's been willing to work with me that way.
So you have been working some part-time, you mentioned that, I think.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that contract.
Yeah, just on an as-needed basis. And then,
But it's not enough to like financially stabilize.
no, 900, what can you do on that? Not a whole lot. And then I've been, my husband and I have been staying at my eldest sister's house for a year. And she's essentially letting us live rent-free in a really nice house, and she's buying all of our groceries, and our day-to-day pretty much is just buying gas for our cars and paying for our cell phones and things. So that's been good in a lot of ways, but that is not going to continue after the next few months.
So we started off talking a little bit about how so this disability, how long ago did you get diagnosed, and how long has this journey been going?
I got diagnosed in August of 19. I was disabled, I think, a year and a half about after that, and then it was retroactive back to the date of my diagnosis. So August 19, August 20, probably 2021, started 21, something like that.
But you've been ill and you were experiencing some symptoms before the diagnosis and treatment.
I was, back till like May of 19.
Yeah. So it's been a good 3.5 years that you've been dealing with this, and over that time, you were ill, but then you became depressed, you weren't able to work as much, and it's slowly like things were kind of taken away, and then you relied on family now for some support.
Yeah, like first my physical ability was removed, and then my ability, with that, my ability to do the things I always did, whether they generated income or not. And then I could manage working a little bit, but I made too much money. And then the disability quit, but I wasn't making enough to live on. It was kind of a catch-22.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So looking at this list of likes, the reasons you liked your former job, is there any way that you can continue working in that capacity that would be financially sustainable for you, or is that just not even an option?
well, I think the problem with going back to that line of work is that I couldn't work enough hours to finish a project at the rate that I earn and still stay below the 900 cap that I have every month.
Again, back to the made too much money, and then your
Then my disability gets
got
cut off.
cut off like it is currently.
Right.
Okay. So, and you have some hope that the disability will resume.
I hope so. In the next, I'm hoping for March or April that my checks will resume. I haven't.
Will that be enough to sustain you or be financially self-sufficient?
I think between my husband's expected income and that, it'll be enough to pay our bills, but that doesn't bring me fulfillment or purpose
Okay, so
or respect.
that's really what this is about.
Yeah.
It's about fulfillment, self-respect, and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some very existential kind of ideas about what is my value going forward. Sorry,
my dog. It was too hot to leave him in the car, so.
It's perfectly fine. He's a good boy. So that seems to be really, when it comes to finding something that is fulfilling, gives you purpose, gives you a sense of self-worth, that also kind of meets some of these other qualities that you found in the paralegal and tiny house world. Enjoying helping others, kind of investigative stuff, but also a little bit of notoriety and kind of some respect from the community for the effort and the work that you're doing and the successes that you have.
Yeah, I'm letting go of the notoriety piece.
Okay.
I've had my fill of that.
Okay, we'll cross that off.
We can cross that one off.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming in today, and
do you have like a worksheet or something I could try to?
I do. I have a worksheet that'll allow you to kind of further dive into what are the elements of work for me, that whether it's volunteer work or paid work or some kind of combination of both, but it's more of a questionnaire that kind of asks you what are the qualities of a career that you could find fulfillment in. It kind of matches with your personality. It's called the Strong Interest Inventory. I don't know if you've heard of it before, but
I did it way back in like 2012, but
okay.
I think my answers are likely to be pretty different.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah, because you've gone through a few things in life since then. Okay.
Yeah.
Be interesting to compare the two.
Yeah.
So we'll get you set up with that. I will email you a link to it.
Okay, good. It's electronic.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, and then you fill it in online, and then I get a copy, you get a copy.
Okay.
And then we can review it next time.
Okay, cool. That sounds like a good start.
All right. Thanks, Beth.
All right, thank you. I'll see you how often?
1 week from today?
Week from today?
Yeah.
All right. Come, pup, let's go.